2017 business meeting of the Council of the Borough of Ringwood. This meeting is being broadcast live and will be replayed on Channel 77 throughout the week. Adequate notice of this business meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Law, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, setting forth the time, date, place, and purpose of this business meeting by consent agenda resolution number 2017-12, adopted January 5th, 2017, through a legal notice published in the Suburban Trends issue of January 15, 2017, and through notices faxed to the following named newspapers and posted on the bulletin board at Borough Hall on January 10, 2017. The Suburban Trends, the Bergen Record, and WGHT. At this time, I'd like to ask everybody to please turn off all your electronic devices. Mr. Heck, can I have a roll call, please?
Sure. Mayor Spear.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Martucci.
Here.
Councilmembers Davison.
Here.
Landis.
Here.
Marsala.
Here.
Noonan.
Here.
Schaefer.
Yeah.
Also present, Deputy Borough Manager, Director, Department of Public Works, Scott Heck, and Borough Attorney, Richard J. Klemak. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Since we're short a little bit of personnel, our first order of business this evening is going to be a resolution number 2017-65. I think it might have been at your places, or it's at the front end of the book. This resolution will appoint Scott Heck as the acting borough clerk. Should I read the entire resolution?
I don't know that it's necessary, Mayor.
Okay, very good. Do I have a motion on resolution number 2017-65?
So moved. Second.
Motion was Noonan?
Me.
Marsala? Noonan? Second? Linda, second.
Okay.
Yeah, see, the job's harder than we thought.
It is, yes.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Spear.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci.
Yes.
Councilman Davison.
Yes.
Landis.
Yes.
Marsala.
Yes.
Noonan.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Next order of business, proclamations and presentations. This evening, we do have a guest. I think at our last meeting, there was some discussion about the Westbrook Road Bridge. The county engineer, Mr. Steve Edmond, has decided to come up and share us some news, possibly. Steve, could you enlighten the crowd if you would?
Well, as you all know, the project is behind schedule. The contractor, though, has worked out all his issues with the drill shafts and awarded, now seeing that the drill shafts have been successfully completed and the pier caps are now formed. That was the majority of his delays out there, was trying to get those drill shafts properly through the reservoir, through the ground, and into the appropriate rock to get the proper bearing and everything else. That's now been done. The steel is scheduled to be delivered middle of April. Okay, there's going to be about 16 sections of steel coming up the road. They're going to they roughly range from 129 feet long to about 140 feet long. They're 7.5 to 10 feet high. They're large pieces of girder. They will be erected, and then the deck will be poured in after that, and the bridge is expected to be open to traffic on, let me just catch my day here, about the end of October. Okay, at that point, then the demolition of the existing bridge begins. That's expected to take another 5 more months, because it has to be cut down in sections and nothing dropped into the reservoir in that bit.
Okay, that, is that steel, is that coming onto the site in those lengths?
Yes, it has to. Yeah, you have to minimize your number of splices. You have to realize we are now going to a 3-span bridge. The middle span is 260 feet long between the piers that you see in the water. There's only certain places that you can splice the steel because of all the loads and the moments and everything else. So the way it's set up, yeah, the steel is going to be that long. It's coming up 287. It will be coming up Ringwood Avenue to Westbrook Road, that bit, and then taking over the existing bridge, and then
It'll be staged on the
far
west side of the bridge.
Right. We cannot make the turns from
Yes.
Macapin Road onto Westbrook because the lengths are just way too long.
So you've done your geometry study and
It's in the works. We will notify the police. There's going to be, obviously, when the steel is extremely long, It's also high you don't worry about here because we got no overpasses, but we'll have to make arrangements in that bit.
And that'll probably be delivered overnight. I would imagine you wouldn't be trying to run that
We're
up
trying
the
to
swell
get,
street.
we're absolutely trying to get it delivered overnight. The question is too, when you're on the interstates, you're limited to when your delivery is in that bit. So that's still being worked out, but we're trying to get this all overnight. We don't know how many, there's about 16 loads. We don't know how it's gonna be spaced out yet. You know, they're gonna do 2 a day, 3 a day. It's coming from Virginia is where it's
Is where it's being
fabricated.
fabricated?
Yeah.
Okay. So the contractor, all the contractor's issues, because what it seemed to have happened is there was no work being done for a while. Nothing seemed to be happening out there. You can understand, you know, if you're waiting for concrete to dry and you want to test your concrete, but it seemed to be longer than a 28-day period. So is the contractor pretty much all squared away? His contract is good, the work is satisfactory, he's ready to keep on prosecuting the job until he's done?
The drill shafts are a specialized construction. You have to realize they're going through an average of 80 to 90 feet of reservoir water. They go into about 50 to 60 feet of ground. Then they got to at least set another 20 feet into rock. He was having difficulties actually getting through the ground, the 50, 60 feet of ground, because that contained various boulders.
Gravels and boulders?
Boulders and everything else, and that was his means and methods of going down through there. That was tending to block him up as to what he was doing. Once he got down to the rock and we got seated on rock, then he used a different method to grind through the rock, because now you have to go through 20 feet of rock, and that was a different method. But he had problems advancing. Those steel casings you see out there only go down to the top of rock. Okay, and then from the top of rock, it's just a drill through the ground, because now the rock itself forms its own form, and you don't need the steel casing anymore. So he's having problems getting that steel casing down to the top of the rock and sealing that off so that nothing would infiltrate.
Getting through all that till and that stones underneath. Okay. Okay.
So we
very
believe
good.
we're past the hard point now. The rest of the point is erecting the steel, getting that in place, and then pouring the deck. And we still have to relocate the utilities out there to the new bridge and that bit. But we sorted our utility meetings and everything else.
What do you have, gas and water, or
We
just
have
gas?
electric, telephone, and cable.
Are all going to be hung on the bridge superstructure? They're
Right,
not gonna
because
be overhead?
the old bridge gets completely removed. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, it's, rumors take over when there's no information, so we were wondering what was going on. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Edmond? And thank you for coming up, I really appreciate that.
I have one question, if no council member does. In terms of closures, do you have any idea how much closures if you're coming in 16 different stages for the, you think it's going to be?
We're going to make arrangements with the police on that.
Okay.
We don't know. Right now, what we do is we just have the trailer lengths and the loading and the weights. We're verifying that these can travel over on the county roads and our structures can take it. And then we will arrange for the deliveries, the escorts, and everything else.
Okay, yeah, there may be periods of time, so if as much notice if you can give us, that'd be
Right,
helpful for busing and
notice
whatnot.
if we're getting so many loads, let's say at a night or whatever, we'll hopefully a week or two in advance be able to put out notice saying, hey, on such and such a night, you know, there's an intermittent traffic stoppages on
Okay.
Westbrook Road.
Okay, good, perfect.
I was going to ask, once the steel is here and the bridge is almost fabricated, what you anticipate the closure being to actually connect it? And like, we'll have to, obviously we'll have to detour, but at that point, what do you think it would look like?
We believe we worked out the elevations that we will have, right, the transfer from the old roadway bridge to the new one to be done in under 2 days.
Okay,
Okay, we've worked out the elevations, we'll be building things up, and we believe we can make that a relatively easy transfer. When we get to that point, again, we'll be able to give that notice how long of a shutdown that would be.
okay, thanks.
How many pieces of steel are we talking about?
I believe it's 16.
So that'll be on several trucks.
Steerable dollies and so forth?
Each truck can only carry one piece of steel.
Oh,
First,
okay.
because of the weight, it already exceeds, these pieces of steel exceed 40 ton.
Okay.
So, you know, we're already
So-
overloaded. Plus the length of them and the height of them. You have to realize some of this steel starts at this elevation from the floor and goes up to 10 feet high. So these girders are massive.
You said they'll be putting it on the old bridge. Is that what you said?
We are coming up Ringwood, the only route we can come up is Ringwood Avenue, Westbrook Road, take it over the old bridge.
Take it over.
And then, so you get to the west side of our new bridge site and then pull it in there.
Will
So we're not storing it on the old bridge, we just have to take it over the old bridge.
Because my
It can't
concern
come
was,
from
will the
Acton.
old bridge hold all that
Yes.
weight?
Yes, the weight is not that great that it will not be able to take it.
Sir, with maintenance of the existing road right now, because I've also heard some complaints, there's some potholes and some other kind of hazardous kind of conditions. Is that within the contract, or is that still a maintenance responsibility of the county,
That would be of the towns.
of the towns?
Towns, right? If we've done an excavation or a trench or whatever and caused whatever the issue is out there, then we'll have our contractor take care of it. But if it's just, but the road is, right now, technically, the road is open to the bridge. The county maintains the bridge, you maintain the road up to the bridge, and the contractor's really working off-site. He's in a dead area.
Okay, so that's not part of his,
That's
work
not
area,
part
it's
of
not
his,
owned
right.
under his contract?
Right.
Okay, so we can deploy if we need to take care of it?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, and if we have any closures or whatever, we'll also give you notice, so that if you need to do any extensive work out there, you may be able to coordinate with the closure or whatever, if they're, whatever that is.
We're hoping for no extensive work, until we get this new bridge all pulled together. and we get the road-
Unfortunately, we do have some work that we want to do along some of the rip
You
wrapping
usually
areas.
also want to chip away at all the rock abutment, rock and that.
Correct. So once you close down, we'll also schedule our stuff to be done at the same time to lessen the impact to the residents in that end. So,
Yeah, we'll keep in very close communication.
Yes, sir, please, if
Thank
you
you.
would.
To be general, the first part of this project, because the contractor was not advancing, we were not able to give out any information, because the contractor was not giving us information, because he was somewhat stymied or stuck, and he had not figured out and be able to achieve what he wanted to do. So,
Yes.
well, I know the weeks went by when you asked us for schedules and this bit, we couldn't give it to you because we were getting no response back from the contractor, because the contractor was still feeling out what he needed to do and how he was gonna do it.
Right, and he's doing it blind, 90 feet below where his platform is. It's understandable, frustrations all around, so really appreciate you coming up here and giving us an update.
Thank you.
Can you send a message back?
Sure.
DPW, sometimes Bergen County DPW makes us guys look a little bit shabby up on Skyline Drive.
Okay.
On some of them snowstorms. I think the last one was not one of our more stellar efforts.
Okay.
So if you can just pass that message along down to
I
the
will.
county DPW fellows, be much appreciated, because our people, that's a pretty major artery for us. So I'd appreciate you just taking that back.
Okay, I
And
will.
really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I delivered that message directly. I had 2 trucks broke down, so I delivered that message from my own.
It happens. It
Yeah,
happens,
yeah. So it happens when you get-
and it always happens at the worst possible moment. Next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. The first set of minutes we have to approve is for the special meeting of December 13, 2016. Deputy Mayor Martucci was absent, and Councilwoman Landis was not yet appointed at that time. Do I have a motion to approve the special meeting minutes of December 13?
Yes, you do. Second.
Marsala Noonan? And roll call, please?
Mayor Spear,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci,
Abstain.
Councilman Davison,
Yes.
Councilman Landis.
Abstain.
What's that?
No, he's not eligible.
Yeah,
Yeah, abstain.
Not that.
Councilman Marsala,
Yes.
Sean Noonan,
Yes.
and the Schaefer.
Yes.
Kelly would still have written down abstain.
And the next set of minutes is for the December 20, 2016 business meeting. Councilman Marsala was absent.
I'll move it.
Ms. Martucci? Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Jamie?
She buzzed in. Yes, Councilwoman Landis. Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci,
Yes.
Councilman Davison,
Yes.
Landis.
Yes.
Marsala,
Abstain.
Noonan,
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Thank you. Next is the general public comment. Anybody wishing to address the mayor and council, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Try to keep your statements brief and non-repetitive. We'll open it up to the public now.
Hi, Venkatall, 24 High Point Lane. Just a few comments regarding the Superfund site. I just want to mention that at the last meeting, I misspoke about the proximity of the municipal wells to the Superfund site. I said they were like 3 miles. But actually, the Beatty Lane well, I did better research. Ringwood's largest water producer is 6.6 miles from the Superfund site, and it's a sand and gravel well. The Canisi Lane well is 4.9 miles from the Superfund site. It's also a sand and gravel. And as the crow flies, the Beatty Lane and the Canisi Lane wells are virtually next to the reservoir and are recharged by surface as well as groundwater flowing from the Superfund site. The Valley Road well is 3.5 miles from the Superfund site. And that's a bedrock well. This well had detections of 1,4-dioxane. The Brookside well is 4.2 miles from the Superfund site. It's a bedrock well, and this well also had detections of 1,4-dioxane. At the last EPA meeting in December, Mr. Mugden stated that those detections could be from baby shampoo dumped into the ground. Of course, that was ridiculous, as well as insulting. An insulting statement when the groundwater wells at the Superfund site do have high levels of 1,4-dioxane. And as I've said many times before, no one knows where the groundwater is going, and it's all connected. In May of 2012, 2 years before the EPA record of decision, Ford presented to the EPA, to the Remedy Review Board, a report. In their submission, they were already planting the seeds, and this is 2 years before the record of decision again, for building a recycling center over a cap of tons of toxic waste in Ringwood. In a portion of the report titled, Protecting Public Health and the Environment Through Source Removal, Capping, and Beneficial Reuse, they stated this: capping remedies are compatible with future reuse or other beneficial land use. Capping remedies are also consistent with another EPA priority and precedent. Beneficial reuse in this case includes, for example, woodland and parkland, potential relocation of the Ringwood Recycling Center or other suitable commercial or industrial reuse, wetlands restoration or other habitat enhancement after the remediation is complete at the 3 ACs. I'm wondering why the council didn't agree to a reuse that would establish a park and a woodland, or a wetlands restoration, or other habitat enhancement, which, in fact, Ford was recommending. This tells me that the borough and Ford had been working on the capping recycling plan for years before 2014. The EPA knew that this would be a very possible recommendation by the borough. As members of the CAG, borough officials were silent regarding the contingency plan. And borough officials are actual members of the CAG. They can speak. They can put things on the agenda, contrary to things that have been said on the dais. And it was never discussed at the CAG because it was never mentioned. And the EPA has been disingenuous when they say they were notified in the 11th hour about the recycling plan. Also, I firmly believe that this council decision not to support a full cleanup of the Superfund site is depressing our property values. Ringwood is the most beautiful town in the New Jersey Highlands. It's only 50 minutes from New York City, home to the New Jersey Botanical Gardens, historic Ringwood Manor, hiking and mountain biking trails. This should be reflected in our property values. But the negative publicity of the Superfund site and the fact that this council is going to cap over 100,000 tons of toxic waste in a watershed community reflects poorly on Ringwood. It is long past due time that Ringwood put this issue behind it and force Ford to clean up our town once and for all. Capping is just the wrong way to go. And I'm hoping the council won't be using the fact that the current soil sampling done at the Ford shows no 1,4-dioxane at the O'Connor. landfill as an excuse to go forward with the capping, when in fact, there are over 100,000 tons of toxic waste there, which could be, as we speak, seeping into the groundwater. No one knows. Okay. I know at the last meeting, I think, Mr. Heck, you mentioned a skyline redevelopment plan, and I'm wondering if tonight you might clarify what you mean by that. And also, I heard you say that the turf field is now being proposed at Lakeland. I understand that the NJDEP and the EPA did not approve of the council's plan to build a turf field at the Hewitt School because of obvious environmental issues such as wetlands and the reservoir being right across the street. And I guess that's it for tonight. Thank you.
Anybody else? No one? No one, I move to close public.
Wait a second. Marsala, Schaefer?
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yes.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Yes.
Yeah, just a couple quick notes on what was just mentioned. There were hits for 1,4-dioxane in those two wells, as the speaker mentioned. Those hits were detected in, I want to say, early 2013 as part of a federal government program that they wanted to look at these small water systems and these emerging contaminants. They were found there sometime in the spring. They were then tested again in the fall of 2013, and they both came up with non-detect. They were then retested again in 2016, and they came up non-detect. Is that correct, Mr. Hack?
That's correct. As a matter of fact, the
Okay.
new tests were done, the original tests were done with different standards. The new tests were done with the current standards that could detect a lower
If-
value number.
Yes.
And so you could detect lower than the .68 or whatever the number is, and so the new techs were the new technology, which had non-detects, which we've had ever since.
Okay. A question was raised, why did we not select a forest or a park type of solution instead of a recycling center? When the EPA, and the speaker was correct in that the EPA has been just a touch disingenuous, that we were not exploring all the options that are available to the town. We're always exploring all the options that are available. That's what we do. What the EPA said is that they didn't have a scientific basis for differentiating this three land areas, like we said, Cannon Mine Pit, Peters Mine Pit, O'Connor Disposal Area. They didn't have a scientific basis for why they would cap Cannon Mine Pit, cap Peters Mine Pit, and do a full removal over at the O'Connor Disposal Area. So they came up with the area is likely to be trespassed upon by people with ATVs who would rip up a cap. Just that one area, not necessarily Peters Mine Pit cap or the Cannon Mine Pit cap, but the O'Connor Disposal Area cap. Therefore, armoring the cap by putting asphalt over the top of the cap and fencing it and making it a public recycling center was the obvious choice then. Because the other uses simply would not be able to protect the cap that the EPA was objecting to. As far as property values go, the argument has never rung true to me. Everybody here who's bought their house in the past 50 years has bought the house with that Superfund site there. That I do not think, I think there's data out there that'll show you that there was pretty much a regional depression in property values, 2007, 2008, and it bottomed out for a while, and now we're growing comparable to Franklin Lakes and Oakland, and better than Wanacue and West Milford as far as the rates of our property values coming back up, and I think that was just recently published. I don't know if it was the Star Ledger or it was the Record. It simply doesn't ring true to me. The negative publicity, you do get anecdotal evidence that you lose property sales whenever these articles come back out. There's really nothing we can do about that. It makes good copy. You know, the newspapers are going to roll with it. I think that's all I had. Oh, the turf field moving to Lakeland, if I touch on that real briefly, EPA has nothing to do with that. That's strictly New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection and their land use unit that kind of covers the waters and the land and the wetlands and that kind of thing. The existing field at Hewitt has been probably operating as an athletic field for as long as Hewitt School's been there. However, as the regulations have gotten increasingly more difficult to deal with, there now turns out to be, you know, maybe a little 15-yard wide area that's not encumbered by either a wetlands buffer or a state open waters buffer or what they call a riparian zone. So the area, while it's been in continuous use, has an athletic field. They just are not really appreciating our efforts to do any kind of major improvement upon it. So we have to look for options while we maintain possibly trying to get that one done, because that is the most logical site there. We would want lights. If we were going to invest in an artificial turf field, we would want lights so that we can get more playing hours on that. We have the same people who would be on the field are using the school. So it's kind of like the parking kind of works out, because, you know, they would be going to school and the teachers would be parking there, and then they all go home on the buses, and then they come back in their parents' cars, and the parking works out. We have parking. We put lights there. There's no residents really in the immediate area. It kind of looked like a home run. We already have the hockey rink on that site. It kind of does make sense from a programming perspective. Unfortunately, the people who are charged with, you know, the land use regulations down at Trenton don't really care much about the programming perspective. That's not their bag. So we're at a little bit of an impasse, but we're continuing to work through it. I think that's all I got. Mr. Heck, did you want to?
Yeah, we were not denied by the DEP for Hewitt School. They encouraged us to downscale the plan to a point where it might have made sense to do something else other than that. And as I mentioned at the last meeting, that we are working in parallel tracks, both Hewitt School and Lakeland, knowing that one field is not going to be the solution ultimately for the borough of Ringwood. Ultimately, you need more than that in order to solve all the problems. Remember, the football field is in the floodplain, it's in the wetlands, it gets flooded out, washed out, sometimes it's under 4 foot of water. So we're looking for a more permanent solution. So we are working in parallel tracks for both, and if we can work out something where we participate with Lakeland while we're getting our fields approved for Hewitt School, why not? So so that, the only other thing that I'll add, Mayor, is it's also a little disingenuous to say that by capping O'Connor disposal area, we're going to ruin property values. We should dig out O'Connor disposal area, and then our property values will go up. When across the street from O'Connor disposal area, there's going to be a capped site in Peters Mine Pit. On the other end of Van Dunk Lane, there's going to be another one that's going to be Cannon Mine Pit. So there's going to be sites that are capped regardless. So saying that capping one, digging one out is going to help property values, that doesn't make any sense, because there's still going to be 2 capped sites in the borough of Ringwood. The ironic part is O'Connor disposal area is the one that has the least, if any, impact to groundwater, whereas the other ones have impact to groundwater. I did mention at the last meeting the redevelopment of Skyline Drive. I've been talking about this for quite some time. I've been talking about we need to do something. I don't think anybody can look at the shopping centers and looking at that area and say it does not need to be redeveloped, it does not need to be enhanced, it does not need to be fixed. So yes, we did talk about that a little bit, and I have been talking about that. I think that that's all I have on that, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Ann?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
just a couple of things?
Yes, sir.
If you
Please,
don't
Mr.
mind.
Marsala. No, not at all.
All right, I'll go in the order of the topics mentioned. The one thing is, while there's a claim that we don't know where the water is going underground, we know where it's not going, because there's no evidence to show of any contamination in our reservoir or wells as of this date. That's a danger to public health. So that's one thing that we know based on data in our possession, that we can positively say it's not going to the municipal water supply or the wells. Not to reiterate what you said, but we thought the cap is the best way to secure and protect. I mean, the recycling plant would be the best way to secure and protect the cap. As far as the turf field, one of the things I think we failed to mention is, for whatever reasons, now considering Lakeland, might even save costs because the lights are already installed there. The stands are already installed there. So for that, for those reasons also, it'd be a little more cost effective to do that. As far as property values, you can look at data. You can even go to the tax assessor or look up the tax roll. I think with the real estate, the bottom dropping out all across the region, with the level of foreclosures, that brings home prices down. As foreclosures come off the books, home prices are slowly starting to rise now, and the data is there to look. And you could go to the assessor's office, you could look online for that kind of data. I think that has had more of an impact on prices of homes and being involved ancillary to the real estate industry. I can say that as a fact. The only other thing that I think, Mr. Mayor, you and Mr. Hecton touched on was the innuendo or insinuation that somehow we're in collusion with Ford. And I'll just use the hot term of the last few months and just say that's fake news. So, and that's about it. And the new term is very fake news. And that's about it.
Thank you, Mr. Marsala. Anyone else need? Okay. Okay. Next order of business. This is old business, public hearings and final passage of ordinances. Counselor?
Yes, if I could have a motion to read by title ordinance 2017-01, Mr. Mayor.
So moved.
Sean?
Linda. Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yes.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Yes,
Okay, an ordinance amending Chapter 19, Streets and Sidewalks, Street Openings and Excavations, the revised ordinance of the Borough of Ringwood to increase fees. Before it's open to the public, Mr. Heck, do you want to give a brief discussion?
Yeah, we talked about this briefly. This is from our engineer. We haven't increased our road opening permits in a long time, and this is really dollar amount increases for inspections. You can't go and inspect things for $20 anymore. So these are really just rate increases, mainly for utility companies and things like that where there's road openings involved and he has to go and inspect.
It can be open to the public, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Can we have a motion?
Motion, no, I don't think we need a motion to go to
You can
public.
just open.
We can go over to, any member of the public wishing to speak on ordinance number 2017-01. Please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
See no one, I move to close.
second.
Roll call on closing public?
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilman Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yes.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Yes,
Okay, resolved that ordinance 2017-01 is read by title, being is hereby adopted, and the municipal clerk is authorized to publish notice of passage of same in the official newspaper of the municipality.
So moved.
Motion? Bill?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, could I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yep.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer?
yes,
Next on the agenda, we have one item of two items of new business, actually. Counselor, do you want to?
Yes, which order? We have two ordinances here. One would be relevant to parks, and the other to towing.
The
the
towing
first one,
ordinance is
02.
2017-02.
I will do that one. Okay, a motion to read by title, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear,
Yes?
Martucci,
Yes.
Davison.
Yes.
Landis.
Yes.
Marsala.
Yep.
Noonan.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes,
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 4 of the revised ordinance of Ringwood General Licensing and Business Regulations. This is an ordinance which changes some of the towing fees and also provides for a change in the location of some of the towing impound yards. Mr. Heck, anything else before?
Yeah, this, we need to add, we haven't updated our towing ordinance in a lot of years. We need to add larger towing capabilities for larger vehicles. Sometimes we need more than one. So this is an updated ordinance for that particular. The chief of police provided input. I provided input, and this was going to be done before Kelly left, but, so that's really, it's really rate and
location.
and location.
Yes. Okay, I'll just recite a resolution. I resolve that ordinance 2702, as read by title, be and is hereby introduced with second reading on March 14 at 8 p.m. at the Municipal Building, Ringwood, New Jersey, and the Borough Clerk is directed to publish a copy of the ordinance in the official newspaper of the municipality.
So moved.
Motion?
Yep, so moved.
Second.
John?
Yes, Sean, second.
No,
No, John.
Jim.
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 Okay. Any discussion? Okay. Like I said, we'll have the public hearing on this on March 14th. Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear?
Yes?
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yes.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer.
The next one, Mr. Mayor, is 2703, a motion to read by title, please.
So moved.
Second.
When's Kelly coming back?
Not fast enough.
Roll call, please, on reading by title.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yep.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer.
yes,
Okay, this ordinance specifies certain park fees, usage fees, and or the hierarchy of users, types of users, giving preference obviously to our programs and to local parties. And that's it essentially. It's an amendment to an already existing ordinance.
Correct.
Okay, anything to add, Scott, before I...
No, many communities are doing this. They're having ordinances for scheduling use of fields to organize, if you're going to use a field outside of the scope of the Borough of Ringwood, what the fee would be, and also what the priority is for, for scheduling fields and whatnot. Obviously, our programs and rec programs have to be the first priority and so forth. So, that's all.
Okay. All right, resolved ordinance 2703 as read by title, be and is hereby introduced with second reading and public hearing on March 14, 2017 at the Municipal Building, Ringwood, New Jersey, and the Borough Clerk is directed to publish a copy of the said ordinance in the official newspaper of the municipality.
Do we have a motion?
I'll
Yep.
move. Oh, second. I'll second.
Okay,
Jim and Bill?
Jim and Bill. Any discussion? And we'll have further discussion on March 14th, as we stated. Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yes.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer.
yes.
That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Counselor. Next on the agenda are resolutions. Mr. Hack, you want
Okay, I'm going to take over my job now and
Yeah.
do what I'm used to doing. Resolution 2017-66, whereas the Chief Financial Officer has certified that funds are available for the payment of the current bill list in the amount of $455,178.12. Supplemental payments in the amount of $4,487,866.61, and merchant services fees in the amount of $60.55 to be credited to the following accounts, for a total of $4,943,105.28.
So moved.
Of which Ringwood Board of Education gets $1,833,920, and Lakeland gets $1,022,311. Who moved that?
Marsala?
Marsala. Okay.
Have a second?
Second.
Second.
I'll second.
Jim?
Jamie?
Jamie?
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilman Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yes.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Resolution 2017-67, be it resolved that the following appropriation transfer be made in the current general account on the financial records of the Borough of Ringwood. I think this is the last one of the year. This is from Group OE to Streets and Roads, $20,000, from Recreation OE to Celebration of Public Events, $500, for a total of $20,500.
So moved.
Second.
That was
Noonan and Marsala. Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yes.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Resolution 2017-68. This is, I'm not going to read the whole thing. This is a resolution granting the County of Passaic a performance bond for work performed on any Passaic County road, highway, or whatever. This is something we do every 2 years where we have a bond with them in case we open a road for water or whatever the case may be. It was reviewed by the engineer, and he has no...
Just like we require a bond, as you went over earlier,
Yes.
the county requires a bond.
Correct. This is no different. So this is just every 2 years this is updated, and everything's the same.
So moved.
Second.
Jim,
Any discussion?
Marcella.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci.
Yes.
Councilmember Davison.
Yes.
Landis.
Yes.
Marsala.
Yes.
Noonan.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
All right. Are you gonna talk about this a little later, I assume?
Do you want executive session?
I don't, but you have it on the agenda later, and I don't think it's, is it under resolution?
It's under resolutions. Resolution 2017-73.
Okay.
Blue.
This is a resolution for a loan agreement between the State of New Jersey, Department of DEP, Borough of Ringwood, and Alcoa property owners for a co-borrowers agreement for the dam replacement loan. I know we've done a lot of these over the last bunch of years where they're in need of doing some rehabilitation to their dam based upon the Dam Safety Committee and the State of New Jersey. And I know that we've had discussions with Alcoa over the last bunch of months. This
Excuse
is
me,
before us for,
Counselor.
Oh, yeah, you're a member, yeah. Who are the members of the?
Walter and I are
Okay, all right.
Alcoa members.
Okay, we'll note that you're excused from any input into this discussion and any potential resolution.
Okay.
Okay? Note that for the record, please.
I will do that. Where's Kelly when you need her? Okay. So this is the beginning stages of their making some repairs to the Little Beach Dam, if for those of us who are local people who know, right on Erskine Road. So I know that we have some people from Alcoa here, if you guys have any question. Their file is here. So Mayor, I would open that up for your consideration.
Okay, I think the loan amount is less than $700,000 for the Little Beach Dam.
668,000.
Okay. Any discussion?
No, just point out, I just want to make sure that the people know this is not our loan. This is not a borough loan.
Yes.
Paying it back. Okay, we've signed these types of loans for all the lake associations, but, and correct me if I'm wrong, we're essentially a guarantor on the loan,
correct.
for lack of a better term.
Yes.
So,
Yes, sir. Yes, as the councilman said, we've done Skyline, Cupsaw, actually, and Erskine. So we've done, this is something that's been done for all the lake communities. It's done throughout the whole state of New Jersey.
Correct.
For all the lake communities as they repair or re-engineer their dams.
It's a pool of money the state has that they loan
They loan,
associations so
At
they
a very good rate,
can finance
yeah.
their repairs.
Yeah.
Right, and to access that
Yeah.
low interest
Low
money,
interest, like
you need the municipality
2% or something, right?
to be a co-signer.
So, in the last 2 years, we reviewed their plans, and we've gone through the financials, and we've gone through the notifications that they've sent to their members. So based on the requirements that's necessary for them to get this co-signed, I believe that they've met.
Very good. Okay, I think we need a motion then on resolution 2017-73.
I'll move it.
Second.
Marsala. Roll call. Just get the Erskine people.
Well, I'm going to get the abstain anyway. Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Davison, abstain. Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yes.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Abstain.
Okay, that's all we have for resolutions this evening.
Nope, I have two more.
Two more.
I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Yeah, just two bills that I'd like to pay that didn't make the bill list. They didn't get back to us in time, and they were encumbered. One was 2017-74. This is be it resolved, the Municipal Council of the Borough of Ringwood hereby authorizes the payment of purchase order number 1700188 to Lakeland Regional High School in the amount of $4,875 for our half of the turf field feasibility study.
So moved.
Second. Bill?
Yes.
Marcella.
Tucci.
Okay.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilman Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yep.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Yes.
2017-75, be it resolved, the Municipal Council of the Borough of Ringwood hereby authorizes the payment to Ray Nebaker Electric in the amount of $11,891.62 for work done at the library. I've been having we have a lot of lights in the library. The ballasts are constantly going. Ironically, there was a recall for those lights that are in there quite some time ago, and I guess that we weren't notified of that. So we are changing out to LED in groups of lights that we can at the library instead of replacing ballasts and spending all that money constantly. So this is the first wave of it. We replaced quite a bit of the first floor with this. 80% of the lights in the stacks were changed over to LED. The hi-hats in the foyer and a third of the way through the building were changed to LED also, and the offices as well as the workroom were also changed to LED. So that's what this is. You're going to see a couple of these as we have funds available to upgrade that light system. So I ask for a motion for that this evening.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? How are the light levels?
Pardon me?
How are the light levels?
This is
Brightness.
the light that we're getting now. They're much happier with than than they had before. So they're happier with the brighter LED lights.
Well, the color rendering is generally better, but I thought they were dimmer overall.
I don't think that's accurate.
It's not,
No.
yeah? They're happy with them?
They're happy.
The state was going around doing energy audits at all these public buildings
Oh,
and wound
okay.
up really dimming everybody's library. It didn't work out too well. Okay, do we have a motion in a second?
We do.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yep.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Yes.
Okay.
Does that do it for resolutions, Mr. Hack?
That does it for resolutions.
Very good. Next on the agenda, consent agenda resolutions. This is consent agenda resolution number 2017-69. Whereas the mayor and council of the Borough of Ringwood has reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions, and whereas the mayor and council of the Borough of Ringwood is not desirous of removing any resolutions for individual actions from that agenda, now therefore be it resolved that the following resolutions on the consent agenda are hereby approved. Number 2017-69, approval of consent agenda. Number 2017-70, approval of payroll and payroll transfers for January 2017. 2017-71, professional services payment, water system computer modeling, contract number 2016-105, in the amount of $7,050. And resolution number 2017-72, authorized redemption tax sale certificates, various properties. Do we have a motion?
Yep.
Marsala?
Second?
I'll second.
Martucci? Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yeah.
Marsala?
Yes.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Heck, if we would switch hats into your manager's report?
I know you're all going to be upset, but I have no manager's report this evening.
Wow.
We're going to save that for a long meeting, maybe.
I would hold on in March.
Thanks.
We're not getting snow tonight, are we?
No. I have a few announcements that I was asked to read, so I'll go through those. Spring registration is underway now, and we offer spring programs for T-ball, softball, baseball, girls and boys, lacrosse, tennis, volleyball, and soccer. Rutgers safety classes are being held March 11th from 9 to 12:30 at Borough Hall. You can register online through Community Pass. We are requiring that everybody goes to the Rutgers safety. The insurance company requires it, and I think they have until September to get that from the ASAP class. The last ASAP class, I think, was based upon 1988 rules. The rules have changed significantly since then, so anybody that wants to coach needs to have the Rutgers safety. We pay for it, and we do it here in Borough Hall. A lot of the other communities charge you and send you someplace else. So we, as a matter of fact, I think our rec director today was getting upgraded in his certification to teach that class. Yankee tickets are being offered through the rec department for June 25th. I think the game is against the Texas Rangers. It's the old-timer game will be played prior to that game, and our tickets will allow you to get into both. So, tennis memberships for our tennis courts are now available online, also at the Community Pass. And the 2017 dog park tags have arrived. If you're interested in using a dog park, the application through Parks and Rec or the events page of the Borough website. That's it.
Very good.
There's probably more. Kelly would have done a better job, but that's all I have.
We will struggle through.
Okay.
Next on the agenda, attorney's report.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any items for executive session?
No.
No?
No, sir.
I have nothing for executive session either.
Very good. Very good. Next on the agenda, mayor and members of council. Councilwoman?
I don't have anything.
Yeah, don't break a string here, all right?
Keep it going. Keep the mojo
Who's going to
going.
be the guy to talk?
Gee, I wonder who.
I just wanted to congratulate Lakeland High School's ice hockey team on going 3 years in a row as the Passaic County champions.
Outstanding.
Good job.
Outstanding. Councilman?
No, just that we know who the real person is, who knows what they're doing up here. She's not here tonight.
Hey, listen, I will admit, doing her job is not easy. You know.
And Jim just whispered to me, he has nothing to say. Go ahead, Walter.
Yeah.
Mark?
We
Mark,
need to
good evening.
get the education facilities in Ringwood 100% back as best as we can, and condos is a certain open space, and that's what I'm gonna vote on.
Excellent, Mark. I
Thanks, Mark.
appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
No report.
No report. Councilwoman Landis?
No report, I'm good.
Okay, very good. Mr. Deputy Mayor?
Peer pressure is,
I don't want to break the cycle, but
but.
I've seen numerous comments on, again, about Fieldstone and Mr. Azarian.
Yes.
So, I mean, a fresh coat of paint, power washing of the sidewalks, I mean, simple stuff. What can we do?
Our property maintenance individual has visited the shopping centers and has certainly looked at them carefully and issued many summonses, or several summonses. So hopefully, after they're either complied with or heard, I can give you a better report.
Okay.
But he was out there and he has issued some summonses.
Because there's where these planting boxes, these round planting boxes,
Right.
filled to the top of the water.
Yeah.
So somebody should just simply drain them.
Well, there's a lot that needs to be done at the shopping centers, and that's why one of the reasons I keep talking about this redevelopment, and we've been talking about some different options. We are still going through our lawsuit with, as everybody is in the state of New Jersey, but we intend to make some changes to rectify some of those problems, because the shopping centers are in desperate need of some attention.
And when you walk sort of past ShopRite, heading toward the post office, you get this septic smell. I mean, it's, I was there 3 times this weekend. It's,
You know, and ironically, the plant that they put in aerates itself to, to help the process of treatment. And it aerates itself and pumps that out through those vents, and so it's working properly. I can't believe in this day and age that is something that's acceptable. So I think that a better solution needs to be in place for sewage waste and treatment of a shopping center.
The only other things I have is, there was an article in Trends about the turf field at Lakeland High School, and I believe it was misleading and premature into some of the comments that they made and some of the dollar amounts that they spoke about.
Yeah, I could talk about that because I met with the folks from Lakeland yesterday, and I kind of talked about that article. But I think what happens is exactly what happens here. They listen to a meeting and they attribute people as if they're quoting them, and they're really not. They're listening to a meeting and taking parts of the meeting out, and then they write an article around it. They didn't contact all of those individuals. What happened was Lakeland had a discussion with their board where they were talking about their capital expenditures, and they were talking about what they were going to do with the capital money that they had. And what happened was Lakeland set aside $1 million for what they considered to be their share at this time. But Deputy Mayor, you're right. We don't have any studies. We don't know what it's going to cost. They don't know what it's going to cost. So the article made it sound as if this was a fait accompli, and that there were agreements, and and it was all based upon whatever happened at the Lakeland Board of Education meeting the other day. So I would always be cautious about what you read in the paper and what you read online, because it's often someone's view or somewhat misleading.
All right.
I have just to chirp in. I know, is Wanacue also going in on the feasibility study then
No.
too, since it would be at Lakeland,
No.
which services students from both communities?
Yeah, at this point, they're not participating in the feasibility study. At this point, they're talking about trying to use the field a little bit, but they're not talking about making contributions. And we do different things at different times with, like, as an example, Addis Park was a shared service between Lakeland Regional High School, Board of Education in Wanacue, and the Wanacue Town Hall.
Okay.
They did that. We don't have any portion of that. I think Wanacue would like to have their children have the ability to play in the field once in a while, and I think through our rec programs, we can schedule those things, and through Lakeland, we can schedule those things. We certainly don't want to eliminate Wanacue from doing it, but kind of what I said is I want to know what I'm going to be getting for our investment. If we're going to invest X amount of dollars, I want to know what guaranteed time we're going to have. How we assign the time is up to us. How Lakeland assigns their time is up to them. And obviously, Lakeland would have the priority, but the schedule that we're worked out amongst the rec directors are good for everybody.
Okay.
We also have to keep in mind that, like lacrosse is a Ringwood program, but all the Wanacue kids join. Soccer, Wanacue kids join some of our programs. Cheerleading and wrestling, we join Wanacue programs. So our rec directors and our rec departments have a really good working relationship. So ultimately, we'll work through all that stuff. But at this point, until the feasibility study is done, I don't have really much more to report on that. So.
All right, that's all I got.
Okay. And I was actually kind of enthused. We did have these discussions a few years ago, and they kind of seemed to go nowhere. And then, the idea kind of comes back around, and they throw $1 million at it. You're like, oh, they have a different tone now. This is a good thing, I guess. Yeah, a little bit premature to start, allocating money towards it, but that's fine. And it is a matter of just how much use we can get for our investment in the field. So it's we'll see where all that goes. Having nothing further, I will take a motion to adjourn.
Very efficient, 57 minutes. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got that? Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Well, certainly.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer?